So here's our beautiful store ready to go live. The only problem is when our customers go to log in, they get the default WordPress admin. So follow along and we're going to write a few simple lines of PHP to change the WordPress admin logo to our own custom logo and learn a little bit more about WordPress in the process. This is Joe from WPCodeBox. Let's get coding. Okay, so the first thing, let's go over here to our WP admin and we'll go down to WPCodeBox. And here is a new snippet. So I'm going to call my snippet custom logo. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a new function and we're going to call it custom login logo. Not going to pass in any parameters and we're going to open it with a curly brace and all of our code goes in here inside the function. So the first thing I'm going to do is declare a few variables that we're going to use. So my logo URL. And what we're going to do here is we're going to tell WordPress where we're storing our actual logo. So let's go ahead and add the logo into WordPress so we know where it's going to be. I'll go down here to WPCodeBox IDE to add it. Now I could add it just in the media library, but then somebody might delete it. It might get moved around. So we don't want to do that. So this is the WP content folder in WordPress, and you can see we have WP content, plugins, themes, upgrade, uploads. We want to put it in uploads. And by default, if we were to use the media library, it would show up in here in like these months, and then you can see all this other junk in here. So we definitely don't want to use the media library to upload this. We just want to put it directly into the uploads folder. So I'm going to click upload file over here, select my logo. And you can see there it is. I got my logo right there. So now let's go back to the WordPress admin. I'll go back here to my snippet. Okay, so our file is uploaded and now we need to tell WordPress where it is. So the first thing we're going to do is use escape URL. This is the WordPress function. It escapes URL, so it's safe to print in HTML. And then we're going to use WP upload directory. Autocomplete with WPCodeBox, and this is a core function. It returns an array with the path or the URL to the uploads directory. And we're going to pull out the key base URL. So that's going to be, for example, example.com/WP-content/uploads. And then we're going to put a space and a period here. And in a single quote, we'll add /my-logo.svg. And then we'll close out escape URL. So we have our logo URL. Now we need to add some CSS. We'll add a new variable, CSS. And what we're going to do here is if we go over here to the admin page, we're going to open up my inspector. It says over here, I want to find out where this image is, right? So we go up here, this div has an ID of login. And then down here is my H1. And then here is my A. We can see the image is selected when I hover over this. How is this image added? It's a background image. You can see it right here. So that's where the image is. So I need to add some CSS that overwrites the background for this A element that's inside the ID login and H1. It's pretty simple. And so let's just go through it line by line. So I'm going to wrap the CSS here in double quotes. And we're going to target that ID of login, H1, and then A. And that matches the format we just saw. And then we're going to open up our CSS statement. And then let's close it. And then we open this up so we can see what's going on. Okay, perfect. And let's go back, log in. So that's our ID over here, ID login, the hashtag login. Then next we have H1 and then we have A. Just like that, login, H1A. Okay, so now we need to tell it what to do. So background URL. Let's pull in our logo URL over there. And you can see WPCodeBox knows that I've already written this variable and it puts it here for an autocomplete. Pretty nice, makes doing things the right way really easy. Okay, so now let's close up this statement here. And let's go through what's actually going on here. So this is setting our URL for the background to be the login URL that we generated up here. So we have our background statement, CSS. Now we just need to add some parameters here to help it be centered and properly aligned. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in no repeat, center, contain. So no repeat, center slash contain. And then we'll close this with a semicolon. So that's going to put the background URL right in the center. Over here, let me close this out. It's going to put the background URL right there. Okay, let's add a few more. We need width auto. We need max width of 320 pixels and a height of 80 pixels. So why 320 and height 80? So this is 80 pixels tall. This is 320 pixels wide. So no matter what our CSS is doing is no matter what size image we put in here, it's going to be centered. It's going to be no wider than this, and it's going to be no taller than that. So it's not going to break the existing functionality on our login screen. Okay, so now we need to inject this CSS onto our login page. And to do that, we're going to use the WordPress core function, WP add inline style. And there it is right here at the top. We'll open this function up. We're going to pass in login, and that tells the function that we're going to inject it onto the login page. And then we'll simply pass in our CSS variable and close this with a semicolon. So our custom function is complete. It works. The code's all nice. The problem is we need to tell WordPress when to run it. So to do that, we're going to use add action. And this is a WordPress function for attaching callbacks to hooks. So add action, tab to autocomplete, open it up, and we're going to use an action hook called login in Q script. So login in Q scripts, and you can see that right here. And it enqueues scripts and styles for the login page. And if I wanted to read the documentation, it's right here in WPCodeBox. So I'll tab to autocomplete. Now I need to tell it, what do we do when that happens? We run our custom function. So custom login logo, and you can see WPCodeBox is giving me this autocomplete. That's the name of my custom function right here. And now we close this with a semicolon. All right. So I'm going to save my snippet, and now I'm going to enable it. And then let's go back over here to my login page, and I'm simply going to refresh. And there it is. There is my custom logo that we just added with our very simple PHP snippet. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.